Hi, I'm Jordan Segal. I am a 29-year-old single gay man living in Los Angeles, California. 1. Yes or no, do you have a negative voice? Yes, absolutely. Good. 2. In what area of your life does your negative voice speak up the most? Oh god, okay. My negative voice sneaks up in a lot of areas of my life. It tries to like jump around. So it'll say like your body's not good enough, and and then it will tell me that I'm not smart, I'm not funny, I'm not likable, and I will never succeed. And so once I start to like focus on one thing, like I'll start to read more books, I'll all of a sudden look in the mirror one day and be like, your body's not on point. And then I'll spend all this time in my body and I'll be like, oh my god, like when's the last time like someone texted you to say hi? And it's only been like an hour, but I'm like, you have no friends. And sometimes it's like longer than an hour, and I'm like, wow, you really have no friends. So, in its truest essence, what is your negative voice saying? You're not enough. Why are you bothering? Like, why bother? What's the point here? You're a joke. And just like stop trying. Like, give up. Give up on whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish. How do you feel and how do you behave when you listen to and accept your negative voice? Well, I feel shitty. I feel awful. I try to combat it by like doing the thing it tells me I'm not good at. So it's like, but in an extreme way. So your body's not looking good, so I'm gonna go to the gym like 2 times a day, every day, until I see what I want to see. Or, I'll read a bunch of books, or I'll text like 20 people so that someone has to answer me and I don't feel alone. I do research into future career opportunities, potential things that I could do with my life, and just see options so I don't feel like I'm doomed. I don't really isolate on these issues. I reach out and talk to people about them, but a lot less than I used to. I think that my negative voice has told myself like you're turning 30, and so ain't nobody got time. Like we all have lives, and no one wants to be bothered with your problems, so figure them out yourself. So I behave in a more critical way of myself. That's what I do. Have you discovered any tricks to overcome your negative voice? And if so, what? Specific example, if possible. Okay. So, yeah, I've been doing this a lot. I've been really, really working on this. So I think it's really interesting that I'm doing this now in my life. So I know that this is nothing new. Nothing my voice is telling me is something that I haven't told myself already for a long period of time. So I try to stay sort of like ahead of the game. So not like I've accepted like your body's never gonna be what it is, and you're never gonna be good enough, and you're never gonna succeed in any sort of career that you're interested in. Instead, I just kind of like, I'm a little more gentle on myself. Before I look in the mirror, I kind of like prep. I'm like, okay, don't be so mean to yourself. I try to be like my own best friend. And I try really hard to like respond to the negative voice before I make a drastic action. Before I get so down on myself that I am like crying in a corner, I try to really think like, is this real? I try to think, about if there's any validity in what my negative voice is saying. It's really tricky because there are times with my body where I will go through Instagram and Facebook and like look at people's bodies and like pick them apart. People who have better bodies than me, and I will go to the mirror and be like, you can do this and you can do this better, and why don't you try working on this? Or like being like, oh, you kind of have what they have here and here. And then I'll look at people whose bodies aren't as good or what I think is as good. And I think this comes from, I think everyone deals with this, and I just think because my experience is that of a gay man, that in my head it's harder for a gay man because there are these stereotypes that like, oh my god, all gay guys have such great bodies. And so, you know, it's like you put up one good picture and everyone's like blowing your phone up like, oh my god, you look so fierce. And you're like, fuck, like I have to keep this up. It's a lot of pressure. And as far as like passion goes in my head and like being popular and funny and smart and successful and creative, it goes back to the why are you bothering? It goes back to, you know, I'll read those articles that are like, I don't know, like Samuel L. Jackson or someone like started as like a janitor or didn't get their career started until they were like 35, or that article that Sarah Paulson put out. And instead of feeling good, I'm like, okay, but by the time she was 30, she probably did like something. And I'm on the road to nothing. Like I've actually done nothing. I've done, you know, one summer stock gig. So what's that going to get you? There are so many people that are already ahead of the game that you should all just stop because you're not there and you'll probably never be there. And I just saw something on Facebook. I have to pull it up. Know that you can start late, look different, be uncertain, and still succeed. And I go, but what if you're just like actually not good enough? Like what if you're not as good as someone else? Should you even bother? And then what do you do with your life? And I can't think of anything else to do than my passion, which is theater. And it's like, well, you're screwed because you didn't bother to get a more well-rounded education, and you don't know how to do anything else, and your SAT scores were very low because you're not that smart, as opposed to like, wow, I stop myself actually now. Okay, like it's really never too late. And then I'm like really fighting. Like my negative voice is saying like, that's bullshit. And I'm desperately clinging on and going like, no, it's not bullshit. Like I heard in this workshop, like what would you tell a child? Like what would you tell a child? Like anything you can tell them, like to leave them with words of wisdom. And it's like, I would say it's never too late, like to follow your dreams, no matter what. This like, go for it. No matter what, you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whatever you want to be. But I cannot give myself that kind of gentle reassurance. And when I do, I'm like, this is not authentic. Then I say, you're joking yourself. You're telling yourself this. Let's be in reality. Oh my God, it's so exhausting. It's so exhausting. Why did you choose to share your negative voice? I did it selfishly because I hate feeling like everyone else has their shit together, and I desperately want someone to be like, I feel that way too. That's why I did it. Because my negative voice is so loud that it's like there's no one else that thinks like you do. You're the most fucked up. And of course, I really, really hope that someone else actually, for their own sake, goes, oh my God, me too. Because I thought I was the most fucked up, is what someone else will think. Yeah. Alternate sex. How do you feel when someone chooses to share their own negative voice with you? Relieved, right? Like I just said, that's why I share. I feel relieved. Thank God I'm not the only one. Um, but also, like, I actually don't want. It's like so against what I just said, but like, I don't actually want anyone to feel this way. Because my negative voice is so loud that if you tell me I feel the same way, not only will I probably not believe you, but it won't take long where like that doesn't matter anymore because I'm stuck with my negative voice. I'm not stuck with your negative voice. Um, so it is important for me to hear that other people are going through it as much as possible. Which sucks. Wow. I hate that this is how my head works. But I guess it's really important to talk about. I don't think we talk about it enough. So there you go.